dealings with people, places, things that are not working for us, that are not assisting us in our highest and best interest. And then the eclipse part of it exacerbates things. So we might be feeling kind of fed up today, or just everything's a little bit more exacerbated. With it being in Virgo, perfectionism is exacerbated, and what that's about is because the collective and us personally, we are all so, everything feels so crazy and chaotic and out of control. Reaching towards perfection, whether that be insisting on it from the people around us or placing that on ourselves, is only a way for us to feel like we have some kind of control in a time where there's a lot of things out of our control. Because the only thing we can control is ourselves, our choices every day, and the actions that we take. We do not want to be reactive in this time in general, but especially right now, today, tomorrow, we want to be responsive. Being reactive is more like throwing temper tantrums. Being responsive is responsible, and it's thoughtful. And it's taking a moment to take a deep breath or two and pull back your perspective. And instead of seeing it through a pinhole, which is very narrow, you're going to look at it from a widened bird's eye perspective view. Okay? Because, first of all, perfection doesn't exist. I wish the word perfect didn't exist. Because we can't be perfect. Well, we already are perfect. Our perception and idea of perfect is conditioned upon us and is something that doesn't exist because we're already made perfect, just as we are. That doesn't mean there's not room for improvement, because we're human and there's free will, because there's always room for improvement. Our free will was given to us to show the universe that we are capable of transcending the 3D human consciousness, which is very 3D material, superficial, okay? So transcending the superficial aspect of being human, which is I want it when I want it, and that's all there is, to a more relaxed, a more ebb and flow self. Because any other thing that we're doing other than ebbing and flowing with the energies is resistance. And you know it's resistance because you're resisting, because you feel it, because you're not happy, you feel sick, you have a headache, you don't feel right. You're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing for something that's just not happening. That's resistance. So on the other side of resistance is flow, regardless of what the situation is showing you right now. For example, if you are having a difficult time with someone in your life, adult, child, boss, friend, whomever, like a really difficult time, you just can't seem to communicate, you just can't seem to get through, well, it's time to take a step back. And instead of focusing so much on the dissonance, on the separation, on what is causing the conflict, you just let it be there. Just let it be there. and observe exactly why it's happening, what you're feeling from it, and what it means to you to go into those little battles, I suppose you could say, to those resistances. When we take a moment to observe rather than react immediately, we will understand a situation and a person better. You will be able to see what it is that not only does the other person need, but what you need out of the situation, because we're both not happy. And why is that? So today, with this full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, which, by the way, is completely visible, it's going to look red. It's called a blood moon. It'll be visible late tonight, fully. It'll be starting at 10 something. It'll end at 1 something. So we'll be able to actually see the eclipse happening. So an eclipse is a covering, right? A masking. It's a superficial facade that is making things appear different than they actually are. And that is essentially resistance, although it's just 2 planets. Star. So, today with the Virgo full moon lunar eclipse, and then tomorrow or the next day, we're going into Mercury retrograde. So things are going to, technology, communication, travel, all of those things are already feeling shaky. But what we really need to focus on is our communication and our ability to respond rather than react, and our ability to flow rather than resist and be in a perfectionist mindset. So that's how today needs to go, because it's going to feel maybe a little extra. Everything's maybe a little exacerbated. You might even be sick of your own self. That's like a great possibility, but whatever it is, I started getting super burpy, which is why I had to start making this, because when I get super burpy, something is coming up that I have to acknowledge. And that's my point. You know, I don't believe that everything is just is. I believe that there's a purpose and possibly a deeper underlying reason for it. And I have grown to learn for myself and what I do, who I am, when I'm super burpy, unless I just ate or something, it's generally not digestional, it's energetic. And I planned on doing this, but I was going to go home and take a shower and be a prepared person. But that's not how this works sometimes. And to my point, that was resistance. Had I just said, no, I'm going to wait, I'm going to go home, I'm going to shower, I'm going to do it my way, that's resistance. And I wouldn't have got the message out that I needed to get out in the time frame that I needed to get it out. I would have forgot a bunch. I wouldn't have been able to, my home is chaotic because I'm moving. So I wouldn't have been able to feel so focused because my house is so a mess because I'm moving. So you have to look at everything. If you feel a nudge to do something, but you say, oh, I'm going to wait to do that. Why are you going to wait to do that? Is it like a logical thing? A time constraint, something unavoidable, that's one thing. But if you are in a position to take the nudges as they come, things will be flowing better. Think of a beaver dam. A beaver dam. There's still things flowing. There's still water getting through. But also there's some clumps of stuff that comes through. It's not flowing very well. It's not, it's not really very helpful. A dam is to prevent things from flowing. So every time you feel a nudge and you go with that flow, you're removing a little piece of a beaver dam. Every time you create more resistance, or you choose resistance, you're adding another stick to the beaver dam. So every time you're choosing to do something that feels right in the moment, every little thing, you're removing sticks from a beaver dam. You see? And as soon as you remove all the sticks from the beaver dam, energy and your life is going to flow exactly how you want it to flow. But then you have to be careful of perfectionism. You see, like, we can get stuck in these twists and turns of things going well, and so like it feels perfect, so you want to keep reaching to be perfect, but it has nothing to do with being perfect. It has everything to do with listening and following flow. Okay, I think that's it. Take the energies of today, be easy with yourself, be reflective, respond, don't react, be thoughtful, choose a bird's eye perspective as opposed to a pinhole view, and choose to look at everything you've been looking at with resistance, everything that you don't like, everything that bothers you. Look at it from a different perspective. Look at it from a curious perspective. Why does that bother me so much? Why is that person making me so mad? You know what I'm saying? So do that. 888-444 on that van right there. 888 is abundance and infinity. 444 is protection and spiritual alignment. So don't resist. Any kind of resistance you have is going to make you feel sick to your stomach. So when you feel not well, it's because you're in resistance. You will feel and be at your best when you are in flow. And being in flow means acknowledging and being curious and looking into all of the things that you resist, what you don't like, what makes you feel bad. Why does it make you feel bad? What does it make you mad for? Why isn't it working out the way you want it to? Maybe that's not what's supposed to be happening. You know what I mean? Okay. I'll have some more stuff later. Some cards and stuff. But this was very important. And it will reach those who it's meant to reach.